Okay, Sleepwalker, The Outsider, the second full-length release from A Transylvanian Funeral, has just hit the shelves. Would you give forbidden viewers a rundown on the overall concept of the album?
Well, I didn't really have a concept until it was over. I think the first song was To Die in the Dark, and like with a lot of the songs on the album, on the previous album, with everything I've done, I had the title before I had any of the other songs, or any of the other, I had the title of the song before I had any actual material, and I had something to work with there. Ideas just sort of come from there. The title of the entire album, The Outsider, is based after a Lovecraft story. It was the first story that I think I read by Lovecraft that really had a profound effect on me, and that was not in the Cthulhu mythos. It was something completely different. It was a story of someone who was a loner, an individual, and didn't know what he was, and found himself. So, if you listen to the album from start to finish, it does tell a story. The story is not necessarily everything based after the Lovecraft story, but it's a story about a person who dies and is reborn multiple times. He hears and feels reflections of his past life in his current life, and he has despair, and he has feelings that he doesn't know how to contain until the end of the album. So that's basically it in a nutshell.
Would the ending of the album be something triumphant or more into a descent into madness and despair?
It's both.
Both?
It's, the word would be finding solace in what you truly are. It's better to know what you are as a monster than to not know what you are, thinking that you are something you're fucking not.
Okay. How does The Outsider differ from your self-titled album?
Well, the production is a lot different. The production is more elaborate. I spent more time on it. I did it all myself this time. Sojourner was not involved whatsoever. With the first album, he wrote lyrics, I think, to 4 songs and sang vocals. He helped out here and there with a guitar part or whatnot, but that was mainly myself as well. This album, I wanted bigger sounds. I wanted more reverb. The first album was very dry, and I wanted more sound that, I don't know, there's some keyboards in there. There's vocal effects. There's things that, I don't know. There's things that you don't find in the first album. There's more of an overall concept. I don't want to call it a concept album because every song can be its own entity as well. The first album was, I would think, more satanic in the sense that it named specific deities. In a Christian sort of sense, with The Outsider, it's more satanic as being true to oneself, being alone, finding oneself, the search for the self and the search for, comfort found within instead of without.
So what challenges do you face as a one-man act, as opposed to having an entire band backing you?
Sometimes I feel like it's less, and sometimes I feel like it's more. If you surround yourself with people who are fucking parasites and who don't want to do as much as you, then you're going to have a problem. You're going to have to do more work in the long run if you don't get yourself surrounded with the right people. So the alternative is to just do it yourself. It might take longer, but you know it can get done. If you have someone else that you're working with and they lose interest, they're typically going to lose interest once you become dependent on them. And when you ask somebody to give you something and you're expecting some sort of return and you make an investment in something artistic, then you're left to do it yourself anyway. So I figured, fuck it, I'll just do it myself.
Just be self-driven then.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very driven and proactive in most things of my life anyway, so, you know, not only is it a pain in the ass to find the right people to, you know, that you can get along with, but they have to be able to play the type of music you want to play. They have to have a similar outlook on things. And there is a difference between a musician and an artist. A lot of musicians can play whatever you put in front of them. They can read charts and they can read staff and they can play by ear and they can do whatever that you ask them to. But when it comes time to be creative, that's where they lose it. And that's where they don't step up. And you say, okay, well, I've done this. What do you want? What do you want to do? Well, I want to play guitar. I want to play the drums. Okay. Well, I want to do that too, but you know, we need to be creative and really express ourselves and be fucking artists. You know, we were talking about it earlier. There's a difference between someone that writes a novel and is a writer, someone that types a novel and just does the work is a typist. Someone can be a musician and just play like a motherfucker, but can they write and can they be creative and can they express what's in here and what's in here? That's the difference. So a lot of times an artist has a single vision and he has to surround himself with musicians to help him fulfill that vision. Some people don't want to help you do that, no matter how much they, when the chips are down, you know, it all falls on these shoulders. So I'd rather it crush me than, you know, not fall at all.
Gotcha. And I mean, being self-driven is something that I've seen in everything you do. I mean, the Outsiders release coincides with the release of Forbidden Magazine's first print issue. Now, Forbidden Magazine is, of course, your brainchild. It's part of Forbidden Records. And go ahead, let's see a little copy of that. There you go. There's issue number 1. It comes with a CD.
It just got done a few days ago. There you go. That's issue 1. There's 100 fucking copies. If you don't get one, you're fucked.
That's it.
You can't bootleg shit like this. You can't download this, but you can download issue 0 at the website.
And what website is that?
A fucking magazine that's only got 100 copies. Forbidden-magazine.com. It's got issue 0. It's a free download. If you want a physical copy of that, you got to check out Hell's Headbangers Records if they got any left. They probably don't.